I'm Jenna, and this is Jenna's Journey. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you could just take a second and hit that subscribe button. If you like what you hear, then please give it a like. If you don't, dislike it. Either way, any feedback is completely welcomed here. Today, I just had a minute. I am at work right now, so I was sitting here thinking, I wanted to kind of, backtrack a little bit and give you guys a little bit more of an understanding how all of this came about and how I even kind of fell into having a spiritual awakening. It's a crazy thing that took a really long time, I feel like, to cultivate and to build up to, but it was like all of a sudden everything just clicked all at once. But I wanted to kind of dive deeper into that and kind of tell you guys what that looked like, so that if you're going through something similar, or if you're looking to kind of find the joy in every day and figure out how to live the most fulfilled life that you can, then maybe you can start kind of looking into some different things and figure out the things that you can do to bring you to a place of inner peace and freedom. So with that being said, I have a little notepad here to kind of keep me in line so that I don't go off on a tangent, because I'm really good for that. But basically, first and foremost, I wanted to say that I've always been in love with YouTube. Since I first found it, found different channels, different genres, and have kind of skipped around a lot over the past 10 years, I would say. And in that time frame, I always was the type of viewer that would find a person that I really liked what they had to say, regardless of what they were doing. If I liked that person, I would literally go back to their channel and binge watch everything that they had put out. I stopped watching TV so much around that time, I would say, and YouTube became, my teacher. It became my outlet and also my source of entertainment. I went from, I think, I'd mentioned this in previous videos, but I went from having a surgery, needing somebody to kind of guide me through, because I didn't have anyone in my life that had been through a similar experience, to then finding people that were, makeup or beauty channel influencers, and then kind of going down, and literally I was there for a very long time. I bought every makeup product known to man and threw myself in headfirst to that, which I'm happy about, because it helped me to find a creative outlet for, I guess, my passion, which is, it's always been kind of art, makeup, anything that you can bring beauty and life to. I think, it said that I am an empath, which means that I feel everybody else's energy and their feelings. So if somebody else is going through something, I feel it just as deeply as they. And when you're not in a healthy spot as an empath, you can really end up in not a good place. And for a very long time, I didn't know how to channel, all of that. So I couldn't watch scary movies. I figured my life had been pretty scary enough. I didn't really need to, spend my free time going down that rabbit hole. I couldn't watch anything that had to do with like any real life scary stuff. So anything that had to do with the things that I had gone through in my life. So whether it was like abuse or, sexual trauma, being kidnapped, just, like torture, all of that kind of stuff. I couldn't watch movies or TV shows that had anything to do with that. I was very, very sensitive to any topic that was not like light, fluffy comedy or learning, I guess. Go through a detox when I would be trying to get clean. I actually would put on the Disney Channel, because anything that I watched that had even an ounce of pain, it was like I could feel it through my veins. Like, it was an awful, awful feeling. So I would watch the Disney Channel because it made me happy, and there wasn't really anything too deep going on there. So that's just, a testament to how sensitive I am to other people's emotions and energy. So come full circle to a place where I found true crime And like I said, I'd never been into any of this, and I didn't think that I could handle it, to be honest. And then at a certain point, Chris Watts, that's when it happened. I happened to stumble upon, I think it was like his interrogation video. You are where your focus goes. So if I'm focused consistently on death, destruction, pain, suffering, sadness, just all of these things, it was really not too hard to figure out that I wasn't in a good place mentally or spiritually or emotionally. And like the addict that I have always been, I would literally watch it while I'm driving. I would watch it in the shower. I would watch it while I am like falling asleep. I would have headphones on. Like I fell into this so deeply, I think because I had always shied away from it. And I finally was at a place where I was finding out that like, oh, okay, I can handle it. I don't really think that I needed to do what I was doing, but on some level, I felt like I was protecting myself, protecting my daughter and my family. The more that I knew, then maybe I could, be smarter and know the right things to do in a bad situation, and all of that kind of stuff. When in reality, what was happening was I was focusing all of my intention, all of my attention on the feelings behind it. And I would put my daughter, like because you can't help but think like, okay, so if my daughter was kidnapped, how would I feel? What would I do? How would I survive that, right? So your thoughts and your focus added with a feeling, like a true feeling in your gut, that's the law of attraction, that's manifestation. So what I was actually doing was bringing that towards me, and I had no idea. So from there, fast forward a little bit to COVID hitting, and at this time I have my mom over here just consistently watching the news 24/7, telling me every single update and everything that I need to be afraid of. And then on the other end of it, like I am banging my head against the wall because I just don't want to sit in one spot consistently, and I'm going insane. I had already been into conspiracy theories a little bit, just like, true to form, every other channel that I had watched. I found somebody that I loved, so then I would binge watch all of their videos. And Kendall Ray, I binge watched everything that she has ever put out, and she did conspiracy theories. And at first I thought like, okay, it's it's entertainment, it's definitely something that is a head scratcher, it gets you thinking, and it was kind of like just an outlet. It wasn't anything too deep for me. Shane Dawson, which I know is like taboo at this point, but he's another one that he would put out these conspiracy videos, and I would be all in. So once I found the conspiracy theories, I thought it was cool to think about and kind of ponder and look into. But it in the beginning it was like about trying to think, like JFK, Princess Diana, like things that were, there was kind of tidbits everywhere. It wasn't like a huge shock to your system when you heard some of this stuff, because no matter who you are, if you're living, you've heard a lot of stuff kind of circulating about Martin Luther King and what was actually happening. And I had some thoughts of my own, during 9/11. A couple different things, worldwide things that had gone on. I had found out that certain things just didn't add up and didn't really sit right fact-wise with me. Again, I just always thought like, well, what do I know? You know what I mean? I'm not there. I have no idea what's really going on. So I would just kind of, keep on going through my life and not really thinking too much about it, because you don't feel like you have, any control or any power over anything anyway, right? So then came to, being in COVID, and literally just, I hit this wall where I didn't want to wake up. I didn't want to get out of bed. I did not want to do anything. And for the first time in my life, I didn't have to. And it was a really dark, awful time. And I mean, yes, it's awful in the aspect of like, the state of the world and all of that, but like personally awful also, because after all the work that I had done, after all of the, you know, growth that I was under the impression had happened, I was really struggling and didn't know how to dig myself out of this just sadness. But what I didn't understand at the time was that this needed to happen in order for me to wake up. And I kind of had to be at this empty shell of a person kind of spot in order to then unlearn all of the shit that I had learned my whole life, to be open enough to understand what was really going on. Because there was a couple of stories that really hit me, hit me to where I questioned everything in life in general, not just my life, but like as far as our government, as far as, you know, just like the people in power. And there's 13 families that, you know, basically are all in control of everybody else. And I'm not going to go too deep into, you know, all of this stuff. If you want to look it up, there is tons of stuff out there for you to watch if you want to educate yourself. But basically it brought me to a point where I understood that we have been so programmed to literally just from the time we are kids, we are fed commercials and cartoons and toys and just told to, you know, continue to keep watching, buying, that our lives are this big and that we don't have any control over anything. We grow up, we go to college, we pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to be educated, to have a piece of paper that will indebt us for God knows how long. And then you literally will just work yourself into a grave pretty much to either A, survive, or B, make as much money as you can, but then you can't take it with you. So it brought me to a place where I was like, you know, there has to be more. There has to be more to life than what we've been shown. I saw how they did things in different countries, and it was just like this information overload all at once. So, you know, I'm at this point where I'm rethinking everything and understanding that the people that I thought could be trusted, even though I've always personally had a problem with authority, you know, there was always that like little thing in the back of my head that like, if something were to happen, we would be okay, right? And now coming to this place where I'm like, no, we wouldn't be, because we don't matter. The little guys don't matter. You know what I mean? If you're not a million billionaire, then you don't have a dog in the fight. As far as healthcare and insurance and just, I mean, everything, literally everything. I thought my head was going to explode. And then from there, I kind of just, you know, put on my big girl pants and started to look for a new job, because the job that I had signed on for actually ended up going under during COVID, which, you know, I think a lot of businesses have, unfortunately. So yeah, I started working for Amazon for a little while. I don't know why I thought I could literally go from being in a horizontal position for months on end, not literally lifting anything except for my ass up off the couch so that I could go get more food and ice cream and popcorn and God knows what else, and then come back to the couch, just plant my ass and lay for the rest of the day, to then going to a warehouse job where I was gonna walk up 3 flights of steps every half hour, and then proceed to be on my feet for 12 hours at a time, throwing, you know, heavy boxes. And you know, it wasn't for me, but that was something that I was willing to do, just because I was so out of my mind, and I knew that Amazon was hiring, but it became, you know, more of a problem than a solution, because they were continuously telling us to stay home because, you know, different people were contracting COVID within, you know, the different departments, and my sister has cancer. My mom has only part of her lung left. So, and I have asthma. So I'm like, it's not really worth it to be miserable, not be able to walk. And I was working overnights at that. Just my whole life was like completely out of whack. So yeah, it took a little bit of time after that. And then I'd gotten a call for a management position. And that's where I am now. But I went for the interview, and it was the energy, the vibe of the people that I sat with. I knew immediately that this was my job. I don't know how to explain it. It was like we were old friends and we're just reconnecting but didn't remember. That's honest to God how it felt. It wasn't until I actually started the job that when I came in and my coworker was here, and I don't even know how it came up, but she brought up the book, The Secret. And I had read it, many, many years ago. And I just remember thinking like, yeah, okay, if I could wish myself into, a Lamborghini, I would have done it a long time ago. So I reread it. I downloaded it on Audible and I listened to it on the way home that day. And that, just something that simple, it connected all of the dots of all the things individually that I was doing. And it brought them all together, and it truly felt like I was waking up. Like all of a sudden, colors were brighter and smells were everywhere. My taste buds, I was overwhelmingly grateful. That came out smooth. But seriously, like I wanted to sit outside. I mean, you guys saw like I was still a little bit like high on life when I first started filming. Not that I'm not now, it's just that, life is life. So shit's gonna happen, and it's gonna kind of, it's gonna ebb and flow. And right now I'm in the ebb. But it was such an amazing experience that was enough of a jolt that it lit a fire under me to finally come on here and stop giving a shit about any of the other stuff. Like I needed to tell people about this. I wanted to help everybody that I possibly could to understand what's actually going on and to wake them up. And don't get me wrong, if it's meant to happen, it's gonna happen. Like with or without your consent, it will happen. But I think for the most part, the reason that I was open to it is because I've always known in the back of my mind that I was meant for more. I just never knew what that meant. I didn't know what that more entailed. Now it's a little bit clearer. And what I will say is, in the meantime, over the span of my whole life, I have always been into, I threw myself into the Bible at a certain period of time. And, my spiritual relationship to God has always been very, very deep and meaningful. I had a friend once tell me that, she would look at my relationship with my higher power, and it was like, I was just talking to a friend. And that's really what it was. Like, no matter where I went, no matter what was going on, I always knew that, my higher power loved me, wanted the best for me, and that he was in control and I wasn't. And, that's evolved over the years a lot. But still, same principles, different players. But I just think that, through doing, like finding out about crystals and learning everything I could about that, about the tarot, and, understanding that, then to angel cards, then to meditation. Meditation is the biggest key, I think, out of all of this that truly opened my mind. Because I know that you can't graft a new concept onto a closed mind. Finally got it out. But meditation started out super slow for me. But once I got it down, I looked forward to it every day. I look forward to it every day now. And that was what slowed my mind down enough to be able to actually look around me and say, like, what is really going on? And through doing that, so many doors have opened, so many things, like the blinders have come off, and I understand things on a new level now. And that's my purpose. That is, I think, what, you know, I am here to do, is to continue to deepen my practice, to continue to, you know, further my experience as much as I possibly can and learn as much as I possibly can, so that I can then turn around and give that to all of you, and the people that I love. So, not that, you know, you, the people that I love. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of, you know, come on here and just kind of let you know what led me to the place where I was awakened. Because I talked a little bit about, like, you know, this is Jenna's journey, and this is where I would love to be every day, is sitting outside, you know, being a tree hugger and all of these different things. And then I went into, like, the, you know, by the way, I'm a heroin addict, to literally, like, here's the full moon. So I do recognize that everything is all over the place right now, but I'm just trying to take inspired action, and you know, when the mood strikes, I get up and film, because I understand that, you know, the more comfortable that I am with doing this, and the more that I'm learning different ways to edit and to upload, and, you know, how to do different things. Like, I've been wanting to do a guided meditation on here for months now, and I still haven't gotten it down. And I start watching, you know, all the videos on how to edit and how to do voiceovers and how to do this and how to do that. But, you know, it's like Chinese to me right now. Like, I am not fluent in Chinese, so it's literally another language. But I'm not going to let it stop me from putting something out. So yeah, so in the meantime, I'm just going to keep, you know, coming on here whenever I have something that I want to say, or something that I've actually, like, you know, planned. I want to start doing some vlogs. Like, I have a trip coming up. I want to take you guys along with me. I want to kind of, you know, put my dog and, you know, my family life, like, just kind of vlog and see what happens. Because like I said, I don't know what this is going to evolve into. All I know is that I am ready, willing, and able, and I trust that the universe and, you know, God will do the rest. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, if there's anything that you feel like is a little bit off, and you're not really sure what's going on, and any of the things that I said resonated with you, reach out and let me know, and we can chat. Yeah, you know, any way that I can help, I am more than willing. So thank you guys so much for watching once again. I love every single one of you. Please subscribe, like, share, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.